Today, I'm going to show you how to be a landlord's best tenant and to make money along the way. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on all of our videos. Let's get to it on the Fearless Flipping Podcast.
If you want financial freedom, time freedom, and want to leave a legacy for generations to come, you probably have heard real estate investing is the place to do that. How do you get started? What do you have to do? When's the right time? If you are looking for those answers, you've come to the right place. My name is Kyle Stanley, and this is Fearless Flipping. My mission is to help you learn this business and conquer real estate investing.
Hey everyone, welcome into another episode of the Fearless Flipping Podcast. I'm Kyle Stanley, and before we jump into things, I need to give a shout out to one of our listeners. Again, if you comment on our videos or if you leave us a review on the podcast with a 5-star rating, we are going to mention your name on the podcast. Just as a thank you for being an avid listener and engaged listener. That's what we're looking for, is more people who are engaging in our content so that we can continue to answer your questions, engage with you, and reach more people. This one comes from Martha Gomez, and she is, this is cheating a little bit. I know what you're doing, Martha. You've taken advantage of a friendship here, and she is a good friend of mine. I'm excited that she did comment on this one. So Martha says, learn from the best. If you want to learn more about all the phases of real estate investing, you're in the right place. Kyle has the best topics and guests on his show. Plus, he is the Airbnb go-to guy. He gives so much knowledge, and his guests do as well. Kyle, you the man. Thank you so much, Martha. That is too kind. But anyway, let's jump into our show today. I got the question recently from one of our listeners and one of our viewers. And the question was, man, having a conversation with a landlord to do this whole rental arbitrage thing for Airbnb seems really tough. And as soon as I got that comment, I was like, wow, what message have I been giving out? Because if that's the message that my listeners and viewers are getting, then you guys have been given a disservice by me. So what I want to do is I want to back up today, and I want to prove to you how, no, this is not a easy conversation, but also, no, it's not a hard conversation. It's actually quite simple. And if you know all the objections that you will be dealing with, you can really show a landlord how you will be their best option at the end of the day. How awesome is that? So what I really want to point out to you in this episode is that there is going to be plenty of landlords that, even if they see this as the better option, still do not do it because they're scared of something new. Actually, let me back up for even 2 more seconds here. For those of you that don't know what rental arbitrage is, right? We got to talk about what exactly we're talking about today. I don't want you to assume, I don't want to assume that you know exactly what I'm referring to. So in the world of Airbnb and short-term rentals, there's this rental arbitrage ideal that you get to not own the property, but lease the property from a landlord and then sublease it on Airbnb. Now, there's fancier ways to be able to present that than the term sublease, because I don't like the word sublease. That makes it sound very unsecured. And so there's ways to be able to tackle that. We're not going to get into that today. But if you do want to learn more about that, make sure you go to our page, fearlessflipping.com/Airbnb host. On that page, you can actually book a call with me. It's just right down at the bottom of the page. Again, fearlessflipping.com/Airbnb host. Happy to answer any questions that you have. Anyway, so there's going to be landlords that, even if they see this as being the best option, they're still scared because their other landlord friends aren't doing it. And, you know, there's the innovators, the people that try this before anyone else. And then there's the followers, the ones that say, okay, they're doing it, now I'll try it. So with that, there comes a really good opportunity for you. And the opportunity is basically to be that first person, or hey, you might even be that 5th or 6th person that is presented to the landlord. And because you've been that 5th or 6th person and the other 4 or 5 didn't follow up, the landlord says, I've been presented with this so many times. This must be the real deal. Let's give it a shot. But before you even get to that, there's going to be objections. There's going to be questions. So I wanted to share with you today the 5 most common objections that I get in this whole process of rental arbitrage. So the very first one is that, hey, what am I going to be insured by? And the first thing I'm going to tell you is do not try to be the expert in regards to insurance. That is only going to stab you in the foot. If you try to be the expert in anything that people are literally getting education for, or sometimes going to school for, not the insurance stuff, but as a lawyer, you never try to be a lawyer. You try to direct people to the lawyer. The exact same thing here. You're not trying to answer the insurance question. You're trying to direct people to the correct person to talk to when it comes to insurance. So if you would like to get connected with the best insurance person around when it comes to Airbnb, you're just going to email me, kyle@fearlessflipping.com. But the way that you're going to answer this question with someone is very simple. It sounds like this. Hey, listen, I am not an insurance expert. I'm not going to try to be an insurance expert, but you do get insured in 3 different ways when it comes to this type of relationship. I get my renter's insurance that says there's going to be other people on the property. You get your homeowner's insurance that states essentially there could be subleasing on the property. And then we're going to be protected by the Airbnb host guarantee, which is $1 million insurance policy that is for property and liability. That is awesome. That you're more protected with an Airbnb relationship than you are with a regular long-term tenant. And so let it be that, and then direct them to the expert. That's all you got to worry about. The second question I usually get is, well, I want to know who these tenants are. I know my tenants now, and I don't know who these people are going to be. Okay, let's step back for a second and really talk about that. Do you really know your tenants? You might know their first name and last name. You might know their job, but do you know what they're doing on Friday night? Do you know what they're doing on Saturday morning when there's college football going on? Do you know what's going on, on a Sunday afternoon when there's the NFL? Are they having people over? Do you know those people that are coming over? Are you having those people that are coming over submit to you a driver's license, submit to you a first name and last name and an email? No, you're not. Well, guess what? In my case, I can request those things. So if I have someone that is going to stay there and has 4 other guests, I can request, if I wanted to, a driver's license and an email address and a first and last name from all of them. Now, do I? No, not usually. However, I do have a Ring doorbell right on the front of my door that shows every single person that's walking in and walking out of there. And we have really strict house rules. So if you have house rules with your tenants, how are you enforcing those? I would ask that question. So you say no parties at your place. How do you know there's no parties? Okay, maybe the neighbors are going to tell you. What if it's a really quiet party? What if it's someone that's going in there and knows that the neighbors are looking at them? With us, we know exactly what's going on because we have the Ring doorbell and we have very strict rules that we enforce, and it's a no tolerance policy. As soon as we hear that those rules are being broken or see that those rules are being broken, it's an immediate cancellation of the reservation. And if they don't abide by that, then we're calling the cops. So those are the stringent rules that we're putting on this. Okay, number 3, what if the place gets trashed? Okay, that's a very common one. What if there's a hole in the wall? What if something gets stolen? What if, there's just, everything is left around? Well, luckily, we have cleaners that come in every single time that there's a guest turnover. And if there is a hole in the wall, let's just call that, for example, let's say worst case scenario, not only a hole in the wall, let's talk about like an entire wall being taken down. We are insured by Airbnb, $1 million of property damage. We are going to file a claim right away, and we're going to get a repairman out right away to basically patch up everything, take care of the whole situation. And guess who doesn't even have to get a call along the way if that does happen? You, the landlord, don't even have to hear about this. Now, let me ask you a question. If something like that happened and a long-term tenant put a hole in the wall at your place, when do you think you're going to find out about that? Probably at the end of the lease, right? And they're probably long gone. And even if they do go in, you go in there and do a walkthrough at the end with them, what are you going to do? Are you really going to be able to get them to pay for that? in California, it's very tough to do that. In a lot of places, it's very tough to do that. Plus all that chip paint, all the, things that are now not working so well. We know about those things right away, and we're taking care of them right away. And you're the last person getting a call on that. You're only getting a call from us if there's an issue with the roof, if there's an issue with the plumbing, if there's an issue with the foundation. Everything else is normal wear and tear. If it's normal wear and tear, that's on you. If it's created by the guest, we are taking care of that right away. And in fact, we want this to be such a good relationship that, let's just say something minor like the towel rack is just getting loose. We're not even going to call and bug you about that. We're not going to send you a bill about that. We are going to take care of that because it's such a minor thing, and we want to be your best tenant. I literally tell them that. The next one, there's more risk. Hear that a lot. Hey, well, it's way riskier than a long-term tenant. Is it? All the things that I just mentioned there, from repairing things to knowing when there's an issue with the house to knowing what your guests are doing. Is it really more risk? No, not knowing who's coming in every single time, but we have cleaners and personnel that are going in. I mean, we have administrative people that are going into these houses sometimes as much as 5 times a week. So does that mean that risk goes up or risk goes down? Risk goes down. Risk goes way down, because even if there is an issue, we take care of it right away. Let's just say that there's crime happening on the property. What's to say that there can't be crime happening on the property with your long-term tenant? I don't care if you get Mr. and Mrs. Cleaver in that place. They, along the way, are going to be inviting people that you don't know over to their house. Now, unless you have a strict no guests over to the house policy, which no tenant really wants to have that policy in place, unless you have that, then yes, there's going to be way more risk with your version, because we don't know who those people are. In my situation, I know every person that's coming through that door because A, again, I know how many guests are going to be there, and B, I have a Ring doorbell that's recording every single person that walks through there. And then the last one, the most, I guess, awkward one to ask, to get asked, is the landlord saying, well, you're making money off of my property, and so how do you expect me to not be a part of that? And so there are many different ways to answer that question, and I'm not going to go into that right now. But what I will say is, when it comes to the landlord starting to negotiate with you about should they get a piece of the pie, should you get a piece of the pie, all that good stuff, there are strategic ways to make it beneficial on both ends, and even ways that will help you to be able to get into an Airbnb without having any money in the deal, not even having to raise money to go get that Airbnb. And if you want to learn all about that, then you have got one small thing to do. And that one small thing to do is going to be going to fearlessflipping.com/Airbnb host, that same site that I gave you just a few minutes ago. And all you've got to do is book a call with me. Now, on that call, let me just give you a very brief description of what we're going to do. I'm going to answer your questions. End of story. You have questions, I'm going to answer them. I've got opportunities to be able to work with me and to be a part of our mastermind group, which has been getting great results. We're only in week 2. People are having light bulb moments going off, and we're going to continue this mastermind group. But on that call, you're going to learn about it. I'll tell you about it, but I'm also going to make it a number one priority to answer your questions without you feeling like you're getting sold on anything. Because guys, here's the end of the day, what I want to do. I want to provide more value. I want to give more questions and answers away to the people that are listening. And I want to continue to learn who is listening so that I can continue to provide more value. So if you book a call with me, you're going to learn a lot. I'm going to get all your questions answered, and I'm going to help you to be able to go out there and conquer Airbnb investing. I hope you have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you again next time.